Good afternoon. I am Mayor Ben Walsh, and I am happy to welcome all of you here to the New York State Fair, and especially our Governor, Andrew Cuomo. Welcome, Governor Cuomo. I want to acknowledge some folks in the audience here, some of my fellow elected officials. We have State Senator Joe Griffo. We have Assembly members Bill Magnarelli, Pamela Hunter, and Al Sturpey. We have Onondaga County Executive Ryan McMahon. Minority Leader of the Onondaga County Legislature, Linda Irvin. We have our host, Geddes Town Supervisor Jerry Albrigo. Our Commissioner of Ag and Markets, Richard Ball. Our great director of the New York State Fair, Troy Waffner. Just looking out, I see many other elected officials. I welcome all of you as well as everyone else who's here. Again, thank you for joining us here as we open the great New York State Fair. We were talking about it, the governor and a few of us, and the fair has changed a lot over the years. But it's not just the fair changing. This entire community, this region is changing. I was bragging to the governor and encouraging him to brag about us. We have some amazing things going on here in the city of Syracuse and in the county of Onondaga and in this region. When you look at certain numbers that for a long time have defined our stagnation, are now defining our resurgence. Numbers like our population, which Syracuse was the only big city in New York State that saw a gain in population over the past year. Our private sector job growth not only outpaced the state average, but the U.S. average. We are gaining significant, over the past year, almost 7,000 private sector jobs year over year. And so much more. But the fair, in some ways, is reflective of the broader resurgence that is happening. Everywhere you look around these fairgrounds, you see investments. And those investments are working. We're driving more people to the fair. And you'll hear not just during the actual fair, but year-round, and we couldn't be happier about it. There are many people that we have to thank and acknowledge for that investment, but no one more so than our great governor, Andrew Cuomo. Thank you, Governor. Thank you not only for your investment in the fair, but in your investment in the city of Syracuse, in Onondaga County, the central New York region, and all of upstate New York. We truly appreciate your partnership and your leadership. And with that, before we hear from the governor, I would like to introduce our great Commissioner of Ag and Markets, Richard Ball.
Version. This is a great day to be a Commissioner of Agriculture, let me tell you. I'm thrilled to be here with all of you to celebrate this and help kick off the 172nd State Fair at New York. That's worth a round of applause. As you all know, I think, who are here, this state fair in the country, and I'm proud to say that this fair has held true to its mission of all steeped in agriculture and the many traditions of great entertainment, great rides, great music, and food that have continued to be a hallmark of this event. And that's what keeps the families coming back year after year. And while we've maintained all those traditions, our 25-cent cup of milk, perfectly chilled, the famous Gianelli sausage sandwich, under this governor's leadership, we have moved the state of New York State and the great state fair of New York forward, beyond great. Thank you, Governor. Our governor had a vision several years ago of a fair that was re-energized, that was refreshed, and that offered things that no other fair offered. And I'm proud to say that we have realized that vision. The historic $120 million investment from Governor Cuomo in the fairgrounds has made this fair more spacious, more inviting, and we have seen the response from our fair growers. Spread over the 3 years, this investment has truly transformed the State Fair, including a new main gate, a new RV park, a New York experience area, a new state police exhibit, a completely renovated orange lot, and sweeping traffic upgrades. And the culmination of all these improvements was the brand new state-of-the-art exposition center opened by the governor last year. As we all know, New York truly is leading the nation in so many ways, but important in climate change and protecting the environment. So I'm happy to say that the State Fair, under its 2023 initiative, Green Fair, will begin an aggressive project to become energy self-sufficient, eliminate waste, and recycle every available item to create the greenest fair in the UAs. And now that's a good point for applause right there. Thank you. The plan will involve the installation of solar panels and the construction of wind turbines to capture renewable energy and reduce eventually to zero the need for energy from fossil fuels. By 2023, the fair will be off the grid and be powered solely by renewable energy resources. That will be a great accomplishment. We're going to create an environmental stewardship pavilion on the western end of the fairgrounds. The new pavilion, which will be energy independent from day one, will educate fairgoers on ways they can reduce their energy footprint, update the progress of their own projects at home, the Green Fair project, and highlight the state's energy and climate initiatives. I know the governor is a huge fan of cars. We talked about cars on our way here this morning. I am as well a fan of cars, and if you are too, this year's fairgoers can learn about the many benefits from driving zero-emission vehicles and check out 4 new electric vehicle models by visiting the Evolve New York booth near Chevy Court in front of the Arts and Music Center. We're also continuing to improve infrastructure and to make getting to the fair easier. We will be transforming the now lightly used Gate 10 to become a second main entrance to the fairgrounds. A $1.5 million project to replace the existing gate building will begin after the fair and be completed in time for the next 2020 fair. The new Gate 10 will when complete, will be a new, larger gate structure. It will be aesthetically similar to the Expo Center, including new fencing, paving, streetscaping, lighting, and a large LED billboard. The new gate will be the first of many improvements on the western end of the fairgrounds. We've already changed gates 3 and 4 along State Fair Boulevard. They were torn down earlier and replaced with new, more flexible facilities for ticketing and for security. And additionally, this year, we're especially proud to partner with Amtrak to bring more New Yorkers than ever before to the State Fair. Anybody who takes the train, Amtrak, to the fair will receive free admission to the fair simply by showing their ticket. Amtrak will also be offering Taste of New York refreshments on every ride to highlight the best of what we have to offer here in upstate New York. There's no limit to the possibilities that take shape here at the New York State Fair, and for that, we have our governor to thank. I could not be more proud, more excited to be a member of this administration, and look forward to continuing to work with him to make the great New York State Fair beyond great. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming a man with a heart and a vision the size of New York State, the 56th governor of the state of New York, Andrew M. Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Boy, what a crowd. I hope you all paid your admission ticket. First, Richard Ball, our Commissioner of Agriculture, has just done a phenomenal job. Let's give him a big round of applause and thank him very much. Troy Wapner has really stepped up and has gotten it done. Let's give him a round of applause. I want to thank and I want to applaud Mayor Ben Walsh. He is a great leader. He's brought a new energy. He's a can-do guy. The results speak for itself, but Syracuse is blessed to have Mayor Walsh. Let's give him a round of applause. I love the partnership between the city and the county, and that's Mayor Walsh, and that's County Executive Ryan McMahon, who's doing a great job. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I want to recognize my friend, the former county executive, who really got the ball rolling for all of us. Joni Mahoney, thank you very much. Thank you. We have our great Lieutenant Governor with us today. Pleasure to be with you, Governor. We brought many members of the state cabinet, the state government. We have our commissioners here today. Many of them have exhibits at the fair, so we all came together. We took the Amtrak train over from Albany. We're a victim of our own success. We have such a high attendance rate now at the fair that parking and handling the vehicles has been an issue. So this year, as the commissioner mentioned, we partnered with Amtrak. You can get on an Amtrak train from Albany or from Buffalo, and you can come by Amtrak. It's a beautiful ride, Taste of New York products on the way. And if you pay for the Amtrak train, which you have to pay, otherwise you don't get on, you get free admission to the fair. So I'm here on free admission today, and I'm loving it. The fair is a new fair. And people who say, well, I've been to the fair before. No, you haven't, because this is a different fair than you've ever been to before. Matt Driscoll, who you know was a former great mayor of Syracuse, and I were talking on the train. He's been coming here since he's been about 5 years old. I've been coming for about 20 years. But this is a totally different experience. It is a different fair. We still celebrate our great agricultural industry and our expanded agricultural industry with now wineries and breweries that we've never had before. We have exhibits that we've never had before. The facility is different than it's ever been. I used to joke that the State Fair for many years was just stagnant. And I went to the State Fair one year and I left a Diet Coke can on a railing, and I came back the next year and the Diet Coke can was on that same railing. Don't get offended, Commissioner. It wasn't literally true. And you weren't the commissioner, so don't worry about it anyway. But it was true that the fair was stagnant. And in that way, in many ways, it was a metaphor for upstate New York. It didn't get the attention. It didn't get the investment. It didn't get the energy. And if you don't grow, if you're not developing, then you're falling behind. And that was the story of the State Fair. And we set about with a comprehensive vision. I want to applaud the members of the legislature who were here. We invested over $120 million. We said to the legislature, it will be an investment that will reap dividends. And when you hear the mayor and the county executive talk about the job growth and the new economic activity, that's just what it was. But I want to thank very much Pamela Hunter, Bill Magnarelli, Al Sturpey, stand up, Joe Griffo, stand up, and let us give you a round of applause. Because the fair does a number of things. First, it is an economic generator just for Syracuse itself. We built the new Expo Center. It is one of the largest convention centers in the Northeast, okay? And it transformed this site from a site that worked for Syracuse, Central New York, basically 13 days a year, into a year-round attraction. Last year, we set a record 1.2 million fairgoers, right? Great. This year, already coming to the Expo Center, over 1 million people have come to these fairgrounds before the fair has even opened. From a tourism point of view, tourism is a big engine. We're bringing more people in, and it's not just to the fair. It's the fair as a base of operation, and then people are going into the city to restaurants, they're going into hotels. That RV facility is state-of-the-art, and they're coming to the fair, and they're staying for days, and they're visiting Lake Ontario, which, by the way, if you haven't gone fishing on Lake Ontario, you are missing something. I'm finding every excuse that I can find. I took the governor of Connecticut fishing the other day. I'm calling every governor I know. But you can come to the fairgrounds. You can go see our winery, see our breweries, go to the Finger Lakes. It is just a great base of operation for tourism in this entire region. And it is a metaphor for New York, upstate New York. Upstate New York struggled for many years. Central New York prime among them. Why? It had every asset imaginable. But the economy had turned, and the state, frankly, didn't step in and said, we're here, we're a partner, we want to help, we want to invest, and let's invest in the economy of tomorrow. Today is a different day. It's a different day in Syracuse, in central New York, all across upstate New York. Today, this state has more private sector jobs than it has ever had in the history of the state of New York. The job growth in Syracuse is through the roof. Unemployment is down all across upstate New York. Why? Because we always had the best workforce and the best schools and some of the most beautiful geography in the world. We just didn't have the state government coming to the table and saying, we're going to partner to put it all together. And today we do. So when you look at this new fair today, and you enjoy all the new exhibits and the expo center and the new energy and the new growth and the new attendance, that is the new upstate New York. And I want to applaud and congratulate all the people who made it happen. Because when we started, there were many naysayers. There were people who said, well, you can't do this. You know, the fair is the fair, and the fair will never be any different. And you're not really going to grow the economy. We heard that speech before, but it never happened. But you had people who believed, like Joni Mahoney and Ryan McMahon and Ben Walsh and the state legislators who represent this area, and Matt Driscoll and Rowan DeStito, who would not give up, and they were right. And this fair is a new fair, and Syracuse is a new Syracuse, and Onondaga is a new Onondaga, and New York is a New York that we can all be proud of. When you look at this state fair, we now have a state fair that the great state of New York deserves. Let's enjoy it. I'm proud of it. Thank you. God bless you.